official visits this weekend. DJ Lagway, of course, is going to headline that. The quarterback for the Gators committed. And Xavier Filsaime, of course, another commit for the Gators to go along with Darius Hayes, Isaiah Williams as commits that are on the campus this week for official visits. Jeremiah Smith, big wide receiver target on campus this weekend as well. But guys, it is heavily focused on the defensive line. Florida's still waiting for that first commit in that position group to come along in this class of 2024. But official visits start this weekend. David Stone, Dealyn Evans, LJ McCray, Jordan Ross, a 5-star edge from Alabama, is now going to be here this weekend as well. He's reported to have heavy interest in the Gators. Look, maybe that could be a Kelby Collins situation like last year. You get him on campus, and it just completely changes the recruiting. Like a year ago, heading into June, you might have heard of Kelby Collins' name, but the chances of him becoming a Gator before he even visited were slim to none. And then he visits, and it completely changes the recruitment. Maybe that plays out here again with Jordan Ross here. But Kendall Jackson, the Gainesville local, will be on campus as well. Jaden Jackson, DeAndre Robinson. I mean, the Gators are bringing in a slew of defensive linemen. And look, they really they got to get this group started pretty soon and getting some commitments. But you got a lot of big names on campus this weekend.
How did that Buchholz team? How did they lose in the state title? They had some crazy players on that team last year at Buchholz coming in. That's exciting. Yeah. The defensive line group certainly impressive there, Dave. That's a certainly impressive list. And at this point, is there a recruit that's going to have more hype coming in to his first snap? I was in the swamp when Tebow took his first snap. Is there more hype around Lagway than there's been since Tebow? Can you guys think of one?
That's an interesting way to look at it because, look, Tebow did have a lot of hype, and I don't know if it matched that, but, you still had Tebow coming off the heels of Chris Leak.
Yeah, but Leak got booed in the swamp against
but then
Kentucky.
before he left, he did hoist the title. So,
I know.
All that stuff
I'm saying Leak was established, but there was still that, pull for Tebow early on in that in that 2006 season, and that's what I'm trying to remember a recruit that had this much excitement coming in, especially it feels like he's already a Gator, even though he's not signed. He can break our hearts tomorrow. Hopefully not, right? Knock on wood here. But this guy's he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job on the trail. He feels like he's one of ours already. He's on the trail, and he's doing a great job. And you hear about him recruiting all over the place. He's doing awesome.
So the place I agree with you, Nick, is that we all anticipate he's going to be the starter. So maybe from the standpoint of more hype than Tebow. Tebow came in. I mean, obviously we saw a little bit of it, but it was that Tennessee game, the 21-20 win against Tennessee, that sort of established that fourth down role where he's going to be the battering ram for Tebow. And then obviously, I mean, I'm not even sure he threw the ball in that game. And then you got the LSU game a couple of weeks later with the jump pass and the fake run that then hits Murphy streaking. That LSU just decided not to cover him going down the field for a touchdown. And so it was a huge part of that win over LSU. Obviously, they win the national championship, so the hype heading into year 2 was pretty big. I'll tell you, Dave, you rolled off all those defensive linemen. We just got done talking about how defensive line is like the heart of the defense and how that's why Florida struggled so much and all that stuff. I don't care. DJ Lagway and Jeremiah Smith are on campus. Those are the only two players that I care about. It's because honestly, I one of the things that I look back on, so you mentioned it in the table of contents, was Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer's second year. So that last year in the magazine, we looked at their first year and said, what did they do? And what can that tell us about Napier? And now it's the second year, and what can that tell us about Napier? And if you look at that bump class with Tebow, Spikes, and Harvin, those guys accounted for something like 11 all-SEC seasons in the time that they were there. And I think they only got 14 or 15 all-SEC seasons out of that particular recruiting class. So it was those guys dominated the all-SEC lists for the SEC the 3 years after they got there. And so that's what we're talking about here. If they could rope in a guy like Jeremiah Smith to go along with DJ Lagway and then maybe bring in a defensive guy, or maybe they've even got him, right, in Xavier Filsaime or Darius Hayes or Miles Graham. They've already got the guy in that 2024 class. You're putting together that level of elite talent that historically has turned into that sort of thing at Florida. And so, I will love it if they bring in high-level defensive linemen. I will pay attention to it when they bring in all, high-level defensive linemen. But they could lose out on every defensive lineman if Lagway commits and they end up with Jeremiah Smith as well.
Yeah, so on campus this week, as I said, David Stone, he's 6th overall on 24/7, second edge or second defensive line up there on 3 as well. LJ McCray on campus this weekend as well. As I said, Jordan Ross, I didn't put him on the list that I just made just a couple of days ago, just because it's that's what we're kind of going into right now is recruiting and these visits coming up. You'll get some surprise visits too. And Ross coming on campus this week is kind of a surprise coming out of there too. So as I mentioned, a lot of targets there just coming up weekend. Hey, but also good news here. Chris Jones, the linebacker, Steve Wilfong put in a crystal ball today for the Gators. So big news there for the Gators and a linebacker prospect. So hopefully that's the Florida Georgia battle. You're beating Georgia for a linebacker right there with Chris Jones from Virginia. So big pickup if the Gators can pull that one off. I know he's bringing a slew of family with him this weekend to check out Gainesville. So hopefully that's kind of one you don't let get away this weekend. You let him get that visit. You let him commit during the visit, or maybe just the day after when he goes home and thinks about it just a bit more. But hopefully coming in this weekend or out of this weekend, Chris Jones and that crystal ball pick comes to fruition there for him. Offensive lineman Ethan Callaway just in this weekend as well. Jamari Howard, Jonathan Eccles, Jalen Crawford kind of round out some of the visitors for this weekend as well. New merch, new sale, new Gators Breakdown merchandise available at gatorsbreakdownmerch.com, including this shirt I'm wearing. It's dropping just in time for summer with new designs. You can get yours with a 25% discount right now. There are plenty of options to choose from, including men's, women's, t-shirts, tank tops. Use promo code YTShopping25 to get our biggest discount ever and support Gators Breakdown while celebrating the Gators with these stylish summer looks. That's promo code YTShopping25 for 25% off. Click the link or head to gatorsbreakdownmerch.com to take advantage.